Hello, my name is Joshua Grannell. I'm also known as the drag performer Peaches Christ, and I was really thrilled when I was asked to participate in this manifesto reading for City Lights. I've decided to do my reading as Peaches Christ, and I'll be doing the manifesto Theater of Cruelty, first manifesto by Antonin Artaud. And right now, with everything that's going on in this world with COVID-19, I liked and was drawn to this manifesto because of the power of theater and how much I miss theater right now and how much I miss performing for live audiences and how important it is. I make my living producing and performing in live events. But even if I didn't, I'd still need to do it. And I look forward to getting back on stage sometime soon. And with that, here's the manifesto.
We cannot go on prostituting the idea of theater, whose only value is in its excruciating, magical relation to reality and danger. Put in this way, the question of the theater ought to arouse general attention. The implication being that theater, through its physical aspect, since it requires expression in space, the only real expression, in fact, allows the magical means of art and speech to be exercised organically and altogether like renewed exorcisms. The upshot of all this is that theater will not be given its specific powers of action until it is given its language. That is to say, instead of continuing to rely upon texts considered definitive and sacred, it is essential to put an end to the subjugation of the theater to the text, and to recover the notion of a kind of unique language halfway between gesture and thought. The language could not be defined except by its possibilities for dynamic expression in space, as opposed to the expressive possibilities of spoken dialogue. And what the theater can still take over from speech are its possibilities for extension beyond words, for development in space, for dissociative and vibratory action upon the sensibility. This is the hour of intonations, of a world's particular pronunciation. Here too intervenes, besides the auditory language of sounds, the visual language of objects, movements, attitudes, and gestures, but on condition that their meanings, their physiognomies, their combinations be carried to the point of becoming signs, making a kind of alphabet out of these signs. Once aware of this language in space, language of sounds, cries, lights, onomatopoeia, the theater must organize it into veritable hieroglyphs, with the help of characters and objects, and make use of their symbolism in interconnections in relation to all organs and on all levels. The question then for the theater is to create a metaphysics of speech, gesture, and expression in order to rescue it from its servitude to psychology and human interest. But all this can be of no use. Behind such an effort there is some kind of real metaphysical inclination, an appeal to certain unhabitual ideas, which by their very nature cannot be limited or even formally depicted. These ideas, which touch on creation, becoming, and chaos, are all of a cosmic order and furnish a primary notion of a domain from which the theater is now entirely alien. They are able to create a kind of passionate equation between man, society, nature, and objects. It is not, moreover, a question of bringing metaphysical ideas directly onto the stage, but of creating what you might call temptations and draughts of air around these ideas. And humor, with its anarchy, poetry with its symbolism and its images, furnish a basic notion of ways to channel the temptation of these ideas. We must speak now about the uniquely material side of this language, that is, about all the ways and means it has of acting upon the sensibility. It would be meaningless to say that it includes music, dance, pantomime, or mimicry. Obviously, it uses movement, harmonies, rhythms, but only to the point that they can concur in a sort of central expression without advantage for any particular art. This does not at all mean that it does not use ordinary actions, ordinary passions, but like a springboard, uses them in the same way that humor as destruction can serve, to reconcile the corrosive nature of laughter to the habits of reason.